Well, hello there. This long time why me never see you no. Come make we chat story. Listen guys, bienvenidos, bienvenue, dobro podjalavat, Tuan Yin. All the ways you could say welcome. Welcome once again to Storytime with Diane Dixon. I know it's been a while and I must apologize. Don't lose interest in the story, let me know. Una not nice. Una not nice to me. I mean, I gave you part one and part two, and me not get one like. Not even one digga like. Una had so. Why? Because me not talking only for foolishness and all them ring it tanga dinga dinga we're going in the place. This is story time, guys. Something to keep you occupied, a little drama, a little escape from the regular humdrum and the monotony of life. So please, Strong Love is an interesting story by Donovan Chin, and I want you guys to tune in. And now we've reached part three. I won't dilly dally or talk too much, but so I'm in a different area of my little, uh, you know, vinegar butchery. My little habitation, my little whatever's. And so we're going to get into part three of the story. Last time Lisa was talking to Sandy, and Sandy was just in denial about this controlling, narcissistic man of hers. Yeah, she's always making excuses for this guy, and you know how it is, girls. Stop it. You must acknowledge the abuse mentally, physically, emotionally, and just take your time, dry your hand out of the lion mouth, because you want to keep your life. Yes. So let's get into part three, guys. This is Strong Love by Donovan Chin, part three. So, Sandy said, that sounds like someone who will take out them jealous anger and beat you up. Lisa responded promptly, you mad? If him ever put him hand upon me, him would be a dead man. Her face began to hurt from the exertion. She switched the phone on speaker mode as she walked to the bathroom to look in the mirror. Sandy said, that's my girl. So when you come in, remember you are overdue. Lisa put her phone on edge of the basin and moved closer to the mirror to see how long her face might need to get better, and said, about 2 weeks' time, I will call you anyway. Sandy said, 2 weeks? Girl, you're planning to go natural. Lisa smiled and her face began to hurt again. No, man, I am falling behind in some things I wanted to do. Besides, I have a barrel to send to Jamaica, and I have not even started packing as yet. Roland was at his office on his cell phone, talking to Gabrielle, the girl he met weeks before while he was watching Lisa at the hairdresser. Okay, let me see. About 7:30. 8ish. How does that sound? He listened, then continued. Okay, baby. By the way, I expect you to wear something absolutely dazzling. There he goes again. I try control people. Gal pick name righty. Anyway, he paused and listened again. Ha ha ha. You are too much, she said. Okay, see you later. He ended the call and put the phone on his desk, and he got up and walked over to the file cabinet to begin to search for some documents. Later that evening, Roland was at the restaurant, patiently waiting. Gabrielle, looking absolutely dazzling, walked into the restaurant. She looked around to see Roland. He was on his phone checking the time when he raised up his head. Their eyes locked at the same time, and then she walked over to him. Gabriel walked over with a gentle smile and they hugged briefly, and he pulled out the chair for her to sit down. As Roland sat, Gabriel said, "So here we are." Roland smiled and said, "Yes, and I am glad we are together to share this moment tonight." "And may I say you look amazing?" she replied. "And may I say you look very good yourself?" Meanwhile, Lisa is at home in the bedroom wearing a white silk evening gown with split from her hips down on both sides and mesh top revealing her sexy breasts. Roland always gets in the mood whenever she wears it. She stood in front of her full-length mirror and applied some lip gloss. Then she stepped back to get a full view of herself from head to toe. She was so pleased with how she looked that she put her lips together and threw a kiss to herself. Mwah! Hey! Hot like pepper seed. She went into the dining room to make sure the dining table was perfectly set up. Meanwhile, Roland and Gabriel were at the restaurant eating. He looked at her and said, "You are such a beautiful woman. How you managed to stay single? I mean, who wouldn't want to put a ring on your lovely finger?" Gabriel smiled and replied, "Are you saying you want to marry me? But this is our first date, and what makes you so sure I am who you want?" He said, "I did not mean it like that, but yes, I would marry you if you think, I would marry you if you are who you think you are." Oh, way much I'd say. Yay! Gabriel laughed. Me that laugh too. "I am saying this is our first date. How much could you know in such a short time to even think like that?" She continued, "I know I am attractive, sexy, but don't you think you want to get to know me a little more? And don't you think it takes much more than physical beauty to see a future in someone?" Roland responded, "Well, I must say I like the way this conversation is going, and I am discovering more about you as the minute pass. And let me also say I am really enjoying this dinner, even though we had not had a bite yet." Lisa is home looking at the clock on the living room wall right next to their wedding picture. She is walking back and forth with her phone in her hand. She made an attempt to call, but she changed her mind and decided to wait some more. At the restaurant, Roland and Gabriel were still having conversation, my love. Them that they give off a pea soup, while poor Lisa at home, I wait and I wait and I wait for this little unfaithful man. "You are a good-looking guy, and you look like you are living at the level of comfort, but we are talking about our precious lives. One wrong move and you could spend the rest of your life trying to fix it or forced to accept a life you don't like." Roland sit back in his chair and smile, and then he said, you are not only beautiful and sexy, you are very smart. Maybe you might not be sure of what you want, but you just made it very clear to me what you do not want." Gabrielle smiled and sipped her drink as Roland continued. "So tell me, what are your expectations for this relationship?" Gabrielle said, "Nothing. You are a guy and I am an attractive girl, and of all the things we could be doing, places we could be, we chose to be here with each other tonight." Roland smiled and sipped his wine and stared at her as she continued. "If I were to hope we end up together, I would be coming to a conclusion before I even get to know you. I would be forcing a destination without having a clue of the journey. The two of them full of lyrics, see? Anyway, I am gonna end part 3 right here. This is Strong Love, people. Tell me if you like the story now. Press like, give me some shares, and do all of that. And I'm coming right up with part 4 very, very soon. So don't sleep and lose your attention span too fast. And this is Story Time with Diane Dixon, and that was part 3 of Strong Love. Tune in next time for part 4. Yes. Peace out. Adios. Sayonara. Dos vidania. Au revoir.